So in the last video guide, we looked at how to add blocks into Scratch to build up a list of instructions to get them to run. So this one, we're going to look at a couple of things in terms of the design. We're going to look at adding costumes, adding different characters in, and different backgrounds. So we'll start off by adding in a character to show you can have more than one character on the screen at a time. So to add in a character, you have two options. You either hit this one that says choose sprite from library, or you hit this one that says paint a new sprite. So I'm going to start by choosing a sprite from the library. So if I click on it, I get a big library full of items, and I've got different themes and ideas down the side which divide the items into different sections. So I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to pick an aeroplane. So once I've got it, I select the item that I want and I click OK. Now what you will notice is your script's gone, but you've also got more than one sprite here. If I click on the first sprite, my code is still there for sprite 1. And then if I click on aeroplane, which is my second sprite, there is no code. So what you can have is individual code for individual sprites. Okay, so you can have separate code for each sprite. So if I put an event, and I'm going to put when the flag is clicked, and I'm just going to put motion, move 10 steps, and I'm going to turn 15 degrees, I've now got code on separate sprites. So when I click the green arrow to run it, they move separately. Okay, and I can have as many sprites in there as I want. The other type of sprite, other than inserting it, is to draw a sprite. So that is the second button, paint new sprite. So if I click on there, I get a little paint area, and I can use the different options on here to paint something. Okay, I'm not going to do anything particularly brilliant, but this tool should be pretty straightforward. You've got your tools down here, you've got your colours at the bottom. I am literally just playing with some different tools and just creating something there. Okay, and when you're done, you can click on these tabs at the top. You've got costumes and scripts, so I can click on scripts, and there we go, I've drawn my own character. Okay, the other thing to say about costumes is if you click on costumes, what you will notice is sometimes some of these have more than one costume. My aeroplane possibly doesn't, but I can do the same thing I did with adding in a new sprite down here on costumes, and I can click and I could add in another costume. Okay, and some of these items you'll notice have more than one costume. So I'm going to put an apple in just to show you how this works. And if I've put in that, now I've got two costumes there, and in my scripts under looks I can go next costume, and when I run it, you'll see that my plane keeps moving to the apple. It moves to the next costume. Okay, so there basically are different things you can do with sprites. You've got adding in a new sprite from the library, you've got painting your own, and then in individual sprites you have costumes, so you can have more than one kind of costume, more than one look on the sprite, and you can then change between those. The same thing can happen for your background. So if I go to stage one backdrop, I now don't get costumes, I get backdrops. Now if I can click there, and I get my drawing pad up, and I can draw on a background. Let's just make a squiggly line just to show you that the background is on there. The other option is to click this first one that says choose backdrop from library. So if I choose a backdrop from the library, I get a whole set of backdrops that I could use. So let's have underwater 3. And there we go, I've got my backdrop. Again, you will notice that I have backdrop I've drawn, and I've got the backdrop added, so I can have more than one backdrop. And again, if I go to scripts, I can put code on my backdrop. So I can go when clicked, looks, I'm going to go next backdrop. So when I run it, my backdrop is changing each time. So that is basically how you change costumes and add backdrops and things like that in. And the major things to remember are that you can add backdrops and costumes either from a library using that button or painting your own using that button. Then within both backdrops and costumes, you can have more than one backdrop and more than one costume, and then use the code to change between them. And you can have code on a sprite, and you can also have code on a backdrop. So have a go at that. Have a go at kind of adding in backdrops, adding in sprites from the library, and have a go at drawing your own backdrops and drawing your own sprites and seeing if you can put some code on it to maybe change the costumes.